Hey kindergartners, welcome to this week's episode of Mad Science! We are so excited to do some more science experiments with you. Today we are going to do two things. But the first one we're going to do is make a non-sticky putty with stuff from our house. So, I have two assistants with me today. This is Harley. She's been with us every time. And we have Taryn. She's coming to join us today because she wanted to get in on this action. So for the first experiment for non-sticky putty, you will need some cornstarch. You will need some dish soap. And you will need a tablespoon measuring spoon and a little bowl. Now, as you can see, I did put some white paper down on my table. This is just freezer paper. Just because our table has little grooves in it and I didn't want to get stuff stuck inside the grooves. So, if you're going to do it along with us, gather up your materials and meet us back here. Alright, welcome back. So let's get started on this. So, for our non-sticky putty, you are going to need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So I brought with me 2 different tablespoons because I'm going to use one for dry and one for wet, okay? So use one that you're going to use for dry. So 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and you'll just put that in your bowl. All right, you want to pass the bowls down? Pass that one down to Taryn. All right. We're going to do a little bit of an assembly line here. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Switch. Okay. Now, we have never made this one before, so we're pretty excited to do it with you guys.
Yeah.
So, once you get your 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, then you're going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of your dish soap. It can be any kind of dish soap. I just had this one under my sink, so we're doing dish soap. So you'll put in 1 whole tablespoon.
That's a lot. Harley.
And then you add just another 1/2 of a tablespoon. It doesn't have to be exact.
Wow. That's a much.
All right. Switch. Switcheroo.
Oh.
Once you have your soap and your cornstarch in the bowl, you just start mixing it, and you're just going to do it with your hands.
What?
Start mixing it.
Can I get it? Nope. I don't like it. Can I?
Yep, just mix it with your hands.
I don't dare to do this. Why did I say it?
Okay. I'm going to do it too. Ready? Just start mixing it all together.
If you put your finger in a dry spot, then you get a little hole. If you make a little hole, it's dry.
Now, if yours gets really sticky, you can add a little bit more cornstarch. If it's not sticking together, then you can add a little bit more dish soap. But you're just kind of smushing it together,
Oh my gosh.
almost like you're making a dough. And see, it'll get all stuck to your fingers. But that's okay. We're just smushing it all
I'm
together.
rolling my sleeves up like a smart person.
You'll have to kind of peel it off your fingers so you can smush it all together.
Oh God.
Does it feel sticky? Just keep working it. You're going to kind of knead it, like if you're making bread.
It feels like the
or
squishy,
something like that. But look,
feels like
once you get it all
flour.
mixed in together,
Mine is working.
it starts to form into a lump. And then you can get all those pieces off your fingers.
I already have mine. Oh, it is already done. I don't know.
Don't be afraid to get a little dirty today.
Mine is barely even close to done.
So once you get it nice and put together, it'll start to look something like this.
I got mine.
And it's just a fun putty that you can play with. Now, it doesn't last forever, so you'll just play with it for a little while and then you'll just throw it away. But it's something fun, a fun sensory activity. You can play with it, you can squish it, you can mold it, and it's not sticky. Depending on your dish soap, it might smell nice, and it keeps your hands nice and germ-free because it has soap in it. All right, so this is the putty that we made.
Yeah, super fun.
Pretty interesting, huh? And it cleans off your fingers really easily. So, adult helpers, you can be happy about that. It's kind of stretchy and fun. You can mold with it and build with it. So, do you guys like this experiment?
Definitely.
Pretty cool, right?
I wish I could have a putty like this every day.
All right, we hope you're having fun playing with your putty. All right, so the next experiment we're going to do is also an experiment using cornstarch. So with this one, we are going to make something called Oobleck. Have you guys heard of Oobleck before?
Yeah.
Yeah. We really like Oobleck in our house because it's super cool. So you guys are going to get to see how cool it is. So for this experiment, you will need some cornstarch. You will need a bowl and a spoon. And you will need some water. You don't need this much water. I just brought some so I don't have to get back up and down. And if you want, you can add food coloring to your Oobleck if you want to color it. So we're going to make 2 batches of Oobleck. The girls are going to make a blue batch. Miss Brady's just going to make a white batch. So you can see what it does. So if you're going to do it along with us, gather up your materials and then meet us right back here. We're back. So to make Oobleck, you are going to need 1 cup of water. So we're going to pour some water into our measuring cup here. 1 cup of water coming up. All right. So there's a cup of water for you girls. And I'm going to pour some for Miss Brady.
This is going to be a lot of Oobleck.
It's going to be a lot of Oobleck.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 1 cup of water. The next thing you need is 1.5 cups to 2 cups of cornstarch. So I have a second container of cornstarch here.
Because,
and I've got a 1 cup measuring cup. So I'm just going to scoop in about 1.5 cups.
Dang, that's a lot.
And we will go from there.
That's a lot of cornstarch.
It's a lot of cornstarch.
That's a lot of cornstarch.
So cornstarch is something that people a lot of times will use if they are making some kind of sauce that they need to thicken it up a little bit. Like you might use it when you're making like an Asian sauce and you want it to be a little bit thick. So it's a great thing to use in the kitchen for cooking. And it's really light and powdery.
Once when we went to Easter with our friends, we got
all right, so here's 1 cup.
Yeah.
Now you're going to get a little bit messy for this one, so I hope you guys are up for it.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm going to give them about another 1/2 cup.
Oh, stop messing with it. Robin, we're going to have to mix it with our hands again.
So once you get about 1.5 cups of cornstarch into your water, you're going to take your spoon and start mixing it until it gets to the point where you can't mix it with a spoon anymore, and then you will start mixing it with your hands.
It's already getting to that point.
So I'm going to change the camera view so that you guys can see what we're doing. Okay, so the girls are mixing up their Oobleck. This is Miss Brady's bowl, so I'm going to show you. I've got my cup of water in here. And then I'm going to scoop out about 1.5 cups of the cornstarch. So you can see how light and powdery it is. So I'm just using a spoon to scoop it out of the container and into my 1 cup measuring cup.
Hey, no.
All right, so there's about a cup of the cornstarch.
Mom, it's
And
not
let's
clumpy
do
anymore.
about a half a cup more. Doesn't have to be an exact measurement. You can add more cornstarch if it's not dry enough. You can add more water if it's not wet enough. All right.
This is definitely not dry enough.
You need some more?
Okay. Oh.
Okay. So I'm going to start mixing this with my spoon. And as soon as you get the spoon in there, you'll feel it kind of turns a little bit hard, which is really interesting.
Okay.
So you're going to keep mixing it until you can't mix it with a spoon anymore, and then you just got to dig your hands in there and get to it.
Nope, nope, nope. This does not feel good. Oh.
So as you can see, it starts to get kind of hard and lumpy. You'll see I can kind of pull out a lump. So now I'm going to put my fingers in there and start mixing.
Mom, it's
Here we go.
It's literally water. Mom, ours is literally water.
Okay. All right. So we're mixing. It feels disgusting. So once you get a mixture of cornstarch and water,
We need more cornstarch.
looks like I need more cornstarch in mine as well.
Ours is like water.
So,
Just water. What happened? It isn't seeming to work. It did. Is there no more cornstarch? Some more?
all right. So you're gonna mix it until you start to get like these lumps in your hand.
Mom, we're not getting any lumps.
Alright guys, so part of science is learning what works and what doesn't work. So we learned that we had a little bit too much water in our oobleck. So all we did was kind of drain some of the extra water off the top. And now we can show you what we have. So Taryn's going to show you oobleck is called a non-Newtonian substance because it acts like a solid and a liquid. So watch what happens if Taryn punches the top of her oobleck. She can punch it. Even though it looks like a liquid,
It's so hard.
it looks like it's moving, you can hit it. I can hit mine too. And it's not,
Hurt? It hurts.
isn't that crazy? Okay, but now watch. If I put my finger on it and I just let it sit there, I can poke my finger through like a liquid.
Whoa.
So weird. So it acts like a solid and a liquid. I could also pick up some with my hand like a solid, right? And then I can hold it and it pours out of my hand like a liquid. So it's one of these weird substances that we don't know if it's a solid or a liquid. It's kind of both. So it's a non-Newtonian substance. Pretty cool. So if you wanted to add color to your oobleck, this is when you would add your color. So once it's already made, you can add some color in there. Do you want to add color to yours?
Sure. Let's
So I'm going to put a few drops of blue food coloring in Taryn's, and you just kind of have to mix it in.
So first I'm going to take some and just put it on top.
Yeah. So we like oobleck because it's so neat to play with. And another thing that you can do with oobleck, if you had a ton of oobleck, you could fill up a big, like if you had a big tub that was like the size of your kitchen table and you filled it up with oobleck, you could run across it. So it would be almost like walking on water. It is super crazy. So this is a fun thing to play with, fun thing to practice different stuff with, see what you can do with it, see how it acts when you do different things to it, see if you can mold it into something. You can mold it for just a second, but then it goes liquidy. So have fun playing in it. Try not to be too messy so parents don't have to clean up a ton of stuff. But have fun. Enjoy it. See what it does.
Experiment.
Yeah, experiment with it. It's super fun to play with and it cleans up really easy. We hope you had fun making that cool non-sticky putty and some awesome oobleck. And we hope that you'll join us next week for more Math Science! Bye guys.